Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Disrupt Project again. What are we, episode 5, maybe, I think?
4 or 5.
We're going to lose
Yeah.
count soon. But, yeah, thank you very much for joining us again. If you are joining us, if it's no one, then it's us. A little chin wag.
Chatting to ourselves on the beach.
Chatting to ourselves on the beach. Amazing. Let's do a little check-in. How are you, Maddie?
I'm good.
How's things?
Yeah, I feel like the last week has just been like one of those boring weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing exciting happened. I took some time off over the weekend and I actually did literally nothing.
Love that.
Thought it was good.
Yep.
Yeah, rainy days. Literally had like a lie-in on Sunday, coffee in bed.
Ooh.
Yeah, haven't done that in God knows when.
That's kind of
This
the
one.
good thing about the miserable weather is that
Mhm.
it can force you to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, it
True
was
love.
good. I went home and hung out with my dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, got little cuddles, so it was perfect. It's just what I needed.
Cozy.
Good for the soul.
Good for the soul.
Yeah. How are you,
Love.
G?
Good. Yeah, a bit the same. Just been doing the usual, really. Went down to Port Mac on the weekend for Pete's Ironman, so that was amazing and fun. And yeah, that sort of like blinked and then the weekend was gone. So, but no, it's just the same. Going away to the Gold Coast next week for a couple of weeks for
Yes.
finish up this course that I'm doing, and yeah, it's just been trying to get all the shit done before that, essentially. So
Just on the grind beforehand.
just on the ground beforehand. So as it always happens sometimes, but
Good.
it's good. It's good.
Actually, I feel like when you get back from the Goldie, we should maybe do a potty on everything that you've learnt.
Yes, it'll be interesting. So I'm finishing my master prac for NLP, which I signed up to it a very long time ago and had, I guess at this point, I had resistance around it and I definitely wanted to push it back just because there's like lots happening, and I also signed up to it a really long time ago, and there's probably more things that I would prefer to go and do at this point in time. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes we have to go do the things that we don't really want to do in that particular time. And I know 100% I will get takeaways from it and learn some new things I'll be able to implement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I just had to swallow that and get on with it a little bit.
I think I said to you like a few weeks ago, I was like, even if you don't like it, at least you're going to realise that's not really the path you want to go down.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be lots of takeaways from it, and whether it's stuff I still view the same or stuff I view differently, I'll be able to work that out going through it. So
It might reignite your love for it.
yes, there will
Who
be
knows?
there will be aspects of it, I know 100%. But yeah, it's just I guess as you grow and evolve, and like there's definitely areas that I'm more interested in now that I probably would have preferred to like pay money and go do. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you're committed to it, so we go do it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny how
Get
like
done.
the thought you have in your mind of where like you're going to go, it changes.
Yeah,
like, in
and
the blink of an eye.
In that time, like when I was like, fuck it, I'm going to like sign up to it and do it, I was in that like mode of just like trying all the new things and like, just like doing everything, signing up to everything, which I don't always do things in halves, I guess. So yeah, past Georgia, I'm kind of just like, fuck, we could have just waited a bit, but you know, no time like the present. So we just go for it.
Why bother doing things in halves?
Yeah,
Just go all
exactly.
out.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's good, but it's just made it a little bit busy in the lead up. But it'll be good to see what comes from that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But today's episode, we thought we will have a little bit of a chat around dating consciously, I guess. We've both had different experiences and different paths. So I know that, as everyone has different experiences, but I feel like there's going to be valuable takeaways from both of our perspectives on those experiences and what we've learned, and I guess what we've found within ourselves on our journey. So do you want to start, I guess, a little bit on your experience in the dating realms?
Oh, I'm laughing because G's and I's dating experience couldn't be any more polar opposite.
Literally.
Like, I've been single since I was like a teenager. Because I have a very bad track record of attracting people that probably aren't the best for me. But I mean, looking back at like my dating history, I was kind of very insecure, like not in a way of like I always thought they were going to like cheat on me or whatnot. It was like I was afraid of losing that. And I think I wanted to feel close to someone so much that I just looked past like all of the shitty things that were kind of happening. Yeah, it's like really, I have a terrible track record. I look back in disgust at myself sometimes.
All lessons.
Lessons.
All valuable lessons.
Yeah.
It is
very valuable lessons because I've realised like exactly what I don't want.
Yeah.
And if I see those qualities show up in new people that I'm talking to or getting to know, I I'm like, okay, you're not the person for me. Yeah. I think I used to attract very sort of men with narcissistic tendencies. I think because of my insecurities, I would attract someone who like kind of felt like they had the power.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of where I went, just very toxic. But in looking back at it, I was toxic as well.
Yeah.
Not in the same way that they were, but in my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how have you noticed the shifts in that as you've like grown over your journey?
I think it's being able to identify what a person is like and walk away.
Yeah.
Where before I would identify it and be like, there's a big problem here and still stick with
a
it.
walking red flag, let's go towards it.
Yeah, I was like, this is exciting. This is giving me like a thrill.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And now I look at that and then go, oh, you're going to fuck my world up.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing of like how you view yourself and like your own self-worth, how that's cultivated and developed is then reflected into like what you entertain.
Yeah.
And that's not just for like, you know, romantic relationships. That's for, I guess, all relationships that you entertain throughout your life. So, yeah, it's interesting. Like I know we've both had that different shift in different ways, but yeah, especially I guess in romantic relationships of what you once used to entertain versus what you would now is, so different. And it's cool to kind of like look back and reflect on like that growth too.
Yeah. It's like even if you would have that conversation of like, what are you looking for? And the person was like, oh, I'm not ready for anything right now. In my mind, I was like, I can change their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, you can't really. Like what they want is what they want. Like no matter what you do, in some circumstances, it isn't going to change that.
Yeah.
And like timing kind of does play into things, but if you're not the right person, a lot of people are just going to be like, oh yeah, the timing's not right. They're not going to be like, it's you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
What's your experience been like?
Yeah, very, very different. So, yeah, I guess coming out of being married, it's a very different world. Diving into dating, there was definitely like, I don't even know how long it was after everything sort of ended. Like it was like months. Like I just couldn't even fathom the thought of like getting close to someone else again for a really long period of time. Like there was so much stuff I had to work out within myself and rediscover my own identity because I didn't know like with someone for like over a decade. So it's like my whole identity was with that person and which was beautiful and like for that season of life and it served its purpose for that time. But like literally carving out a new identity of who you are is extremely fucking terrifying. And it was just like, I guess you get out and then you just like, oh, it felt wrong.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, like it felt wrong talking, like even just messaging people, and I was like, I don't like this. So
how old were you when you got into that relationship?
I was 17.
So like those peak
17, I think.
moments of your life.
Yeah, and like before that, like I guess as you do in high school, like I had probably like different experiences, like probably a little bit beyond my age that, and like hanging out with guys older that I shouldn't have been, much to Dad's disgust when I was like 15.
It was exciting.
It was the thing. It was like those rebel years. But yeah, and then like we met and like life just happened all that way. And and it's I'm really proud of us now that we're still able to have like a friendship outside of that, because I think also writing like a narrative, I guess, on like how society views like divorce and separation and like, you know, it has to be this certain way, and it's like things happen and people feel like they have to choose sides as well, and it's like, we're cool, like everyone else just needs to chill out. It's okay, like life happens, this has happened, like, and we're accepting of it, and that's cool. But yeah, it's definitely like navigating that and coming out of that, and yeah, it definitely took a lot of time. It's probably like a full year, I guess, to know who I was like on my own. And there's definitely people like within that I met and had like connections and stuff with, and I was at different stages in my journey, and it's good because it kind of exposed parts of me that I thought I had like worked through and healed, or parts I wasn't even aware, like having rejection wounds and that sort of thing. Like I was in a really secure, safe relationship, so it's like that was never
a problem.
That was never a problem. And it's not until like I've come out of that and then gone into like trying these other new relationships that I've just been like, ooh, hello.
I remember the conversation and I was like, welcome to my life.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was there. That's interesting. So it's good. So it's like, coming out of that, navigating who the fuck I was outside of that. And then, everything's definitely shown me a valuable lesson. And then I think got to the stage where I become really aware of like who I was and like what I wanted. Yeah. And for a period there was definitely like, I think, holding on to like hope of like, oh, they'll change their mind on something, or like, and me working through like why I couldn't like just let that go, and then gets to the stage where you work through that and you're just like, okay, I want to entertain this and not this. Yeah. So that doesn't meet that standard, so I'm off over here. That's it. Yeah. Which is really good and really empowering, and just sitting and trusting in the timing, which is really hard. Like it's easy to say. It's really easy to say, and in the moment you're just like, fuck me. Like,
patience is something we all need to learn. It's not easy.
And it's hard, and you definitely have those days where you're just like, God, like I really would like someone in my life again. But it's like, trusting that although you might feel like lonely, like and alone, like there's that difference as well. Like it's okay to be alone and you're not really lonely. Like, and it's like everything you want to call in a person, that you have to work out how you can become that yourself to attract that person as well. Yeah, that's very true. And I think now, having attracted the most beautiful person ever, it's like, it's really cool to experience that, because it's like all these things I wanted, and was, I think, again, it was all new. Like I knew that's what I wanted, and I knew like how I wanted to feel, and like especially that connection. And I think with connection as well is being in like a relationship when you're really young for like a long period of time. It's like such a different connection than having like a really deep like adult relationship. Yes. So different. Like both like beautiful and great, but just so vastly different in so many ways. Yeah. And like the level of depth and just like pure like soul connection there is like something I struggle to describe really.
It's something that like a lot of people never experience either.
Yeah.
So it's not like you look at a lot of relationships and they're like obviously connected deeply, but it's so different to like that soul connection.
And we stay so often, and again, this is from my experience, but also just from conversations and like looking into things, but we stay so often in situations that we know that time's probably ended. Yep. And it's a really hard decision to make. But it's also, you have the option of making a really hard decision now, or you're years down the track and wish that you made that decision back then as well. And it doesn't, that's the thing, it doesn't always have to end in the horrific, ugly, toxic way that you see out there. And that's, I guess people always speak about the really ugly stuff, but there's also a really beautiful side that can come with ending relationships too.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
No,
whatsoever.
and that's the thing. And I think it's especially for me, my parents separated when I was really younger. So in my head, my belief system was just I only ever want to get married once. If it fails, then it's a big failure and it's a big, bad thing. Yeah. But it's so working through that as well, the guilt and probably a lot of the shame that came in through that too. It was I was so embarrassed, especially 28, divorced, and I was embarrassed to tell people that as well. So it took me a while to get comfortable with opening up about that, because I was not a lot of people my age are divorced.
No, but then how empowering is that to be I did it because I wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't right.
100%. And it's rewriting that script as well is super empowering.
The people that have their opinions or put the shame onto you, that's a reflection of themselves. It's got nothing to do with you. And I think becoming aware of yourself, you learn that. And when you're not aware of yourself, then you do look at it oh, these people are going to think this, so I'm not going to do this. And it really does hold you back, other people's perception of you in a way. I have so many people in my life that are in relationships because it's comfortable, or that they're oh, it's too late to find someone else. Yeah. And I'm you're 25.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's too late?
Life is not over.
I was you can be happy and be single, and you never know when the right person is going to come along. Why are you settling for something that every time I see you or you see someone, it's just half an hour of bitching? And I'm is that really what you want to be doing for your whole life? It's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the person that comes into your life should complement your life. You both, it's so important to equally have your own lives, and then whoever comes into that, adds to it. It's not taking away from it. It's not, adding more shit to your plate. It should be easy. That's what love should be. And I think, when you can step into that and embody that person again that you want to call in, and you can be that person yourself, then it that person will come into your life. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. But just I think coming back to how you can show up and what you can do, and being aware of your triggers in relationships, and just being clear on what you want. If you're in a situationship and I did this, you tell yourself that it's just I'll just hang out a little bit and just see what happens here. It's just you fucking know the answer. And why are you entertaining it? Yeah,
it's so fine to entertain flings if that's all you're looking for, and that's all the other person is looking for. But when you both want separate things, if you're looking for a relationship, then probably stop having the one night stands.
Yeah.
Which is something that
if you want sex, go have sex. Cool.
Yeah.
If you crave something deeper and that deep down and that's what you want, then stop lying to yourself.
Yeah. Because you can't change someone's mind, and you're not really looking in the right place. Occasionally you might have a one night stand or meet someone out at a club, and it does turn into something go off but the chances of that actually happening are pretty slim.
And it's a big thing that I've had this convo with a couple of friends is the energy that you're putting towards these other little flings, and that is actually retracting away from what you could be putting it towards. So it's you're being open to these other things that aren't really serving you, are taking away from things that could come into your realm and serve you much more.
Yeah, that's why I've gone sabbatical.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I did, and I was just then poof, here we are.
It'll happen. Yeah, I'm in absolutely no rush. Yeah, for something to happen. I know when it does, it'll be right.
Yeah, and I think taking that pressure off of feeling, oh, why isn't it happening, or why aren't you just do your thing.
I'm so happy. I don't need someone in my life to make it to make it happy. If they don't, as you said before, if they don't add value to my life, then I'm not about it anymore.
Yeah.
Where before I would be like, oh no, like the company's good, so like it's fine.
Yeah.
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 Or like, oh, I like having that person there all the time, or like whatever it may be. I'd make excuses for like the shitty behavior or like the constant fights we'd be having.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, no, but when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Which I think
Yeah.
a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You just kind of, I mean, I was a little bit delusional, still am. But I would just look for the good and just forget about the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And what's outweighing is the bad outweighing the good, and you just trying to look for the positives. Or
Yeah. Well, I was always like anxious that I was going to create a fight, so I would just kind of stay silent.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one experience in particular, but yeah, I was like so like constantly be like, oh no, I don't want to upset them, so I'll just say as little as possible.
Yeah.
And then I'd get really drunk, and then it would be like,
Yeah.
here's a fight.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting sitting with all of that, isn't it?
And it's funny how like once you're aware of like your like attachment styles, it's cool to be like, oh, this is what you attract, and a lot of the time it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
So I flip between anxious and avoidant. I probably more sit in the avoidant at the moment.
Yeah.
If I was to go one way of it. But if I was anxious, like I would notice them pulling back. And then when they do that, I'd obviously get more anxious, and they'd pull back even more, or then I might pull back and they might turn into the anxious. So it was like this constant like sort of like game of tennis where like it shouldn't be like that. You should just be able to sit in the middle.
Yeah.
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 Just ease into it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I was always so avoidant, and then it's not coming out. It was like coming out of like a long-term relationship, and then I definitely noticed like some little anxious like tendencies pop up, but that's because of those like rejection wounds and that sort of thing were being triggered. And it's so weird. Like we sit here talking about this, and it's just like this was like foreign language, like
literally
a couple of years ago.
A year
really,
ago, I was in like the most toxic situationship.
Yeah.
Ever.
So it's just like if you're like listening, you're just like, what the frick are they on about? Like, and even then you go into like, you know, learning about the feminine and like masculine dynamics as well, and it's like, God, that's just a whole like another can of worms to open. It's just like being, I think now especially like if you were to tell me, like half
provided for pretty much.
Literally like passenger princess, like loving life.
I think it's the same as though like we were very much like I can do it for myself.
Yeah, 100%. It was that. Yeah, you had to like have it all sorted out yourself. Like you didn't need anyone's help, but like that's all coming from like these wounds and like those places of lack as well that you felt like you had to prove something and that you could be the strong one like on your own. Like, I don't need no man. Like, and that's all great to like have your independence and like have, you know, be that strong woman, fucking oath. But also like the right person, like you have to cultivate that safe space and those like dynamics within yourself. Like someone else can't, like you talk about like dropping into your feminine, being like soft and, you know, like all those qualities, but like you have to cultivate that within yourself first, and then the right person makes it easy for you to like drop into that
further
again.
You're not going to be able to like be sitting in your masculine and then have this like man come along. You're not just going to instantaneously just drop in.
No,
like, it's never going to happen.
No.
You're probably just going to run away, to be honest, because you're like, whoa,
yeah,
this person wants to actually like provide for me, and like step up, and you're like, oh no, I can do that for myself. So see you later. Yeah, 100%. Anything less, you just like shut it off. But it's like working through that all yourself is like the key to it all. It all begins with you. And we're not saying just like meet a man, quit your job, and like sit around home.
Yeah,
like, that's not what we're meaning.
No.
Unless that's what you want. But.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's like there's so many, I think, opinions and views on like what it is to be feminine, and like we've spoken about this before as well. And like people will want to sit more in one than the other. Like we're very similar where like we still have that drive and, you know, there's certain things that we still want to do and we still want to achieve and, you know, we don't want to sit around in like our sundress in the sun like every day and be provided for. Like that's beautiful if that's what you want, but like for us, like that's not what we want.
I used to joke and say, if I have children one day, I'm going to birth them and the dad can stay at home with them and I'm going to get out of there. But that was from a place of like a wounded place being like, absolutely not. I can't like sit there and do that.
Yeah.
Mind you, a 50-50, that'd probably be lovely.
Yeah. And I think like then there's like the reality aspect of like society is changing in that regard too. It was just like it was, you know, traditionally that's like women would stay at home. So like, and some people, still do those traditional views, but I think, like the world is evolving. So
and also just do what works for you.
This thing, everyone's different. There's so many options and there's so many different dynamics. So work out what works for you.
Yeah,
so.
what makes you the happiest and most fulfilled and all of that stuff.
The joys.
Do you have any other topics?
We did have icks as well.
I was gonna say, did we want to go
diving into a few icks, which we were having an interesting conversation around before.
We were in stitches before we started this.
If certain people lose limbs, Jacob's off it.
How dare this person? When people base their entire personality around their dogs.
Oh, so we put a question box up on Instagram. Oh, I like dogs. It's so me to like dogs.
I'm just going to go kill myself.
Feeling attacked?
Wow.
It's like,
God. I mean, I can't talk. Mine are more brutal than that.
It's a bit like when like you see dogs and their owners and it's just like such a resemblance.
Mum looks like her dog.
Oh shit, what else we got? Dirty / long fingernails.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Have clean hands. Yeah.
It's
true.
Then, is it guitar players that have the one long fingernail as like a guitar pick?
Oh.
I hate it.
Oh shit, what else do we have? Trying to find a straw in a glass with your mouth and tongue and not being able to get it. What was
But the wind keeps pushing it away.
What was the one with the receipt? Was that Tahi that said with the receipt when they're trying to like chase after a receipt on the ground and you can't get it?
Yep. Yeah, the same thing, the receipt, the ping pong ball, like money. If you drop a $50 note, I'm sorry, just leave it. Don't run after it.
Some of these are so brutal.
They are. Mine, I've had some very specific ones. Apologies to the men.
Here we go.
I cancelled a date with this one because it just was, there's too many. Grammar's a big thing for me. Like you don't have to like be very punctual, but like if you're cutting words down, you're like, I'm gonna go and do this, or like, no, like it was every second word and I was like, absolutely not. And then they would, memories. I don't like these memories. Instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to get like, he was a tradie and he was talking about like getting his shirt off and working out in the sun. And it was like, oh, I'm getting my chassis out. I was like, can you just say your rig or something? Like, I had to Google what that was. I had to Google it. I was like, what on earth do you mean? And he said that too many times and I thought, I'm cancelling this date.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Getting my chassis out. Can we label that this episode? Getting my chassis out.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Shit.
Yeah. What else have
Wow,
I got?
that's great. It was here. Oh, Pete's just dropped in mispronouncing.
Do you do that?
Maybe. Potato, patata. There's been a few times he's like, do you mean this? And I'm like, Well, you know.
Potentially.
George's world, we just live in it.
Someone sent me facts on where chlamydia originated in koalas once.
Excuse me?
And I never responded to that. That was the final straw, but that just did it for me.
The final straw.
A fact sheet. Full fact sheet.
Sorry, hold on. Let's go back here. So we were talking to this person.
This was Oakvale Farm guy.
Oh.
And he asked me there if I knew where it come from. And I said, absolutely not. Because I'm not there to learn.
Just there to watch the animals, bruh.
Just there to pat the animals. And he said, I'll send it to you. And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
I thought he was kidding.
No.
And a few days later, he sent it to me.
Oh.
Never responded.
Oh, yes.
I think that's valid to know.
She had chlamydia.
In koalas.
Yes. In koalas.
Not in humans, koalas.
Do you know, that's actually another funny thing, which do you find that women, we like have nicknames for guys? I don't know, like I don't think it's an intentional thing, but I just noticed like it just naturally happens. Like
You definitely do.
yeah. Not even me. Like it'd be like talking to my girlfriends and then we're just like nicknames. I'm like, they have names, but okay, nicknames. Cool.
I think I do now that do you know like back in school like you just all date everyone that everyone knew.
Yeah.
So like you use by their names, but then now like you grow up and you meet people like outside of it, then you're like, yeah, no one knows this person, so let's just use them by like the story.
The story. Story. Add
Never
to the
good.
name. No. Oh god, no. I don't really know.
Girls can be cruel.
I know. I don't really know if I've had any like big icks. It's really just like rudeness. Like
I don't like that.
yeah, if people rude to like waiters and that sort of thing. I don't know. That just more so reflects like their personality, in my opinion.
Or if you like ignore someone when they say hello to you, like in a store,
Yeah.
just like, say hello. Like, it's
yeah.
not-
So I don't know if that's really. I don't know. I think we were talking about this before as well. I was like, where have icks again? Like, you know, I'm relatively new to this whole dating pool thing, like, coming out of my cave. But I was like, where did this ick thing even like come into existence? Like,
I don't know. I feel like over the last few years, though, it's definitely gotten heaps worse. Like, it's like a new thing. Like, let's just say, like, between like 5 to 10 years. Like, that's
yeah, I know.
newish,
But
kinda.
even like talking to the guys, like, we were cultivating and stuff, and it's just like there's like pages where people
Yeah.
just post all their icks. And I was like, firstly, who has time to do this? And like, secondly, why are we automatically just looking for like the negatives in people?
That's
like,
very true.
if they just don't align with you, then just leave it alone.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, some of them are definitely valid, but then other times it's like you like to
Chlamydia
look
fact
for
sheet.
an excuse
Yeah.
as to why you don't like the person. When
Yeah.
it could just be like, we're not aligning.
I do
Like,
think
don't
there's a
like
lot
you.
of that. And I think there's a lot of people probably avoiding honest conversations with people and hiding behind icks as
Yeah.
well.
Me.
No. Like, maybe chlamydia fact sheet guy.
That one was warranted. There's others that haven't been. No, I do think like even looking at like sort of my friendship circle, they do
Yeah.
cover up the like. You just go, oh, they're giving me the ick. Like, I need to break up with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Whereas like just have an honest conversation.
Have an honest conversation. We're not aligned.
They're not easy though, are they?
They're not. They're not. Like, just like anything uncomfortable, we prefer to avoid.
Do you reckon it's
It's a
gotten
good-
worse over the years? Like everyone's just
100% I do.
avoidant?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I look back at like was it like this 20 years ago, or did they just have a
Mm.
conversation?
I think it's so much easier to hide behind a screen these days as well. Just with life and everything too. Like, yeah, and it's so easy to like ghost people and
Yeah,
not do the respectful thing and just like, again, have that conversation. Like, you can just ignore them and never talk to them again.
literally, it's not hard either. You literally just have to be like, I've enjoyed our time together. Like, I've liked getting to know you, but I don't see it going any further.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be anything like You don't need to give them a specific reason of what they've done,
No.
because that's not helpful for anyone.
No.
You just need to put the energy out there so they know exactly what's happening. And then you can be like, okay, they're aware of how I'm feeling, move on.
Yeah. And
Not that hard.
yeah, like coming back again with that, like coming back to your experience, like it's not your responsibility on how this is how we go about avoiding here and having the honest conversation. Okay. So like it's not about your like how they receive that either. Like their reaction is going to be their reaction, whether they take it on the chin and like can look at it in that, okay, that's where they're at, cool.
Yeah.
Or if they have a reaction to it, like that's not your responsibility. Like
No.
you've said your piece like respectfully and like, you know, again, not making it like about them and what they've done, like you said, like just saying this is how you feel, this is what, even if like this is what you want, you don't feel aligned, cool.
Yeah, done.
Done. That's all it has
It's
to
not
be.
hard. Yeah.
No.
I had one recently with someone from my past, and I just was like it's not going to happen. Like, I hope that you have people in your life that you can go to, but I can't be that person for you.
Yeah.
And no response.
Yeah.
And that's not on me, because I was very honest and respectful of them.
Yeah.
Where I could have like sent a message and be like, are you going to respond? Like, do you have something to say to this?
Yeah.
But like, who's that going to help? No one. Yeah. That would be me coming from probably like an anxious place.
Yeah.
Where I was very secure in how I handled that situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's done. Put that to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Well, hopefully there's some takeaways in all
I feel like
of
that
that.
wraps up our dating. If you need advice, go directly to G.
If anyone's looking for the love of their life, Elise is single. Where to find us?
You must be tall,
Tall, dark, and handsome.
dark head,
Into some,
very aware.
into some spiritual shit.
Spiritual shit.
Facts.
Or just don't shit on me being spiritual.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we'll
amazing.
record one next week, and then
Yes.
we'll have a little bit of a break while you're away.
Hopefully have a guest join us next week, which will
Mm.
be very fun.
Yes.
And then, then I'll go away and we'll be back
We'll be back.
with some more.
Dribble some more shit.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.